So today, and sort of this weekend really, got a stiff neck. I think that bad back has turned to a stiff neck. Not too sure because it went alright, and then we went hiking. Maybe it was the backpack on my back stiffened my neck up, or maybe I've just slept funny. It's one of those ones that really annoying because you don't know how it's happened. I don't know how to prevent it, but I guess what it's alerted me to is another area I need to focus on. I need to include some neck exercises in at the gym. Try and get something simple. I mean, it's very rare that I get this, but I do have my suspicions that it is to do with the sort of upper middle back area, because I know a few people that have had the same thing and they've ached in the middle of the back. But it's trying to stay grateful a little bit that it's happened, and you can notice what's weak and stuff, and slow down a little bit. I mean, I've slowed down today at work a little bit. If I'm honest, I didn't have the energy for it. And it's okay just to slow down a little bit. Maybe your body's telling you, slow down, I can't really do much with this neck. And sometimes you got to listen to your body, I reckon, and agree with it and say, yeah, okay, I'll slow it down a tad. I've still gone to the gym, still gone to yoga, went in the sauna for 10 minutes, try and loosen up my neck, which it did, put a bit of heat on it, my hot water bottles on it. Just testing really, and I'll keep saying this, you do just have to test things. You can't just sit here and not be happy with the fact that it's happened. You've got to test, you've got to experiment, and that's what experimenting with exercise is. If I do exercises, do I get it again? And it might take a long time for it to turn up and for you to know if it does it again. I mean, the last time I had a stiff neck, God, must be a year or two at least. So all you can do is test and see what comes about, really. See what you can find out. But I was gonna add going to the sauna into the routine, if I'm honest, anyway. Just 10 minutes. See what happens to my weight. See, one of the things with me and my weight is I'm not really that in control of it. And I'm not fat. I am skinny. And there's not too much notice that I see when I try and put weight on. And I'm never trying to take weight off. But I was thinking, I have got bigger than I've obviously I've been when I was younger. So I have grown, don't get me wrong, I've got heavier. So I guess it, there is that. But there's never this intentional, I never have this intention to weigh myself every week and see what weight I am and actually manage it. I'm not aiming for anything. But I was thinking the other day, my body fat percentage is that low where I could probably get myself some abs, but I just lower my body fat percentage probably another 1% or 2. Now I am wary, I don't want to go too skinny, but I was also thinking, if I go lighter, after being light and then getting a bit heavier and then going back light, I do wonder what sort of feelings you have in your body. I think about these UFC fighters who do that, who lower the weight and get it back up, and when they're not fighting, they either skyrocket or whatever. And this fluctuation with your weight, I've never really experienced it. I never tried. And it's an experience I'm actually kind of intrigued at, especially if I go a little bit lighter. I mean, I'm not going to go crazy. I don't want to be in a situation where I'm not just naturally where I am. Now, my experience with my weight is it has always sort of kept the same in my head. Like nothing that I've ever done, and my routine's always the same. Nothing that I've ever done has really raised it. And I wonder if I'm at a balance point where I eat the same amount or maybe just a little bit more than I burn. And that's why I stay leveled. And that's why I was thinking, if I cut down on my weight, got myself some abs, look a bit more, a bit more toned or whatever, be at a lighter weight, might be better for my body that I'm lighter, and see how I feel. And just test different things and see what happens. And that's where I think the sauna might come into me. See what happens to my weight if I'm just going in it for 10 minutes. Because I'm still exercising all the day, I think 4 times a week, maybe sometimes 5. So just see what happens. And it is tough because I'm not fat. So it's hard to ever talk about it or give advice on it. But in my head, it would be so easy to lose weight. I mean, I know that's a wrong thought process, purely because I'm not fat, I'm not in that position. But I would just, like I said, I would just sit in the sauna for 10 minutes, see what that did to my weight. If I was fat and it dropped my weight, okay, I'd keep doing that until my weight plateaus. And then maybe I'd adjust my diet a little bit, cut one thing out or whatever, see what happens. Maybe do the sauna twice, 10 minutes, 2 10-minute sessions, 10 minutes, go have a cold shower, reset, get back in. Or, add a 5 minutes in there or whatever, do 15 total, or, I'd experiment with these things. And if that didn't change anything, maybe I'd walk on an incline for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and just track myself over a long period of time. Because realistically, the bad food is very addictive. And it's the hardest part, I think, would be to cut out all the bad food, would be to cut out the sugars, because they're designed to be successful, as successful as they can, and make you want them and want them and want them. So they're going to trick the brain into, I want this. So that's going to be the hardest part. You've got to rewire your brain. So I would personally, if it was me, I'd start with exercise somehow. If I'm massive, I might go for a walk. If I'm massive, I might do some wall press-ups. If I'm massive, I might get up from the couch 10 times, 20 times. You know what I mean? Make that the workout. Or walk up the stairs if you can, a couple of times. Just start from somewhere. But, it is hard to give that advice because I'm not in that position. And sometimes I can understand it is a big step for some people to go from 0 to 100, and that's what people will imagine, going from fat to abs, and that's realistically not going to happen. So you do with some things like that have to just set your mindset to be like, this is a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year process to getting myself healthy, because it's took you that long to get into that position. So it would almost be a bit wrong to get yourself out of that position so quickly. It almost doesn't feel right in the universe that happens. And this is where I talk about testing things. And for me, you can test with anything. If you're struggling with anything, all you've got to do is keep going and keep testing. No matter how small the tests are, no matter if the tests are massive and unrealistic and fantasizing, I feel like you do just have to test. Whatever you can test, whatever thoughts you get. If your testing is just watching TikToks or YouTube and just sitting there and dwelling on it and thinking about it, it takes you however often, so many months or whatever to figure out what your next test is going to be, however small it's going to be. I notice that that's sort of what you have to do if you want to if you sort of want to get an answer somewhere, you really do just have to try things. And that's how the first person finds something out on something new and amazing. Think of the first person that ever found something out. They either stumbled on it by a fluke, purely because they were testing things, or they figured it out systematically. And that's all it is. If you're not going to listen to other people and you don't want to do it with other people's advice, and you want to do it all yourself because you feel like you don't have anyone there with you or whatever, for whatever reasons, you just got to do something, I guess. Like with my neck, I'm not happy my neck's happened. I have no idea why my neck's happened, but for whatever reason, it's happened. So, you just got to test and see how you can fix it. But yeah, anyway, at the shop now, so peace.